It's stupid. This is dumb. But anywho, I thought this video looked really, really good. It's an interview with Israeli dissidents taking action for Palestine.
I'm one of the so-called Bristol Seven.
Because, I know, crazy, right? Insane, but like, you can be you can be anti-genocide and still think the government committing the crime, the government doing the genociding, has people in it that are still human beings. And I value Israeli lives equally to Palestinian lives. Because I think human life is precious and we shouldn't just kill people. I know, possible. I know, it's crazy, right? And I like to shine a light on like the people in Israel that really try their best despite their circumstances and despite the fact that they grew up with propaganda their entire lives telling them that like Palestinians and Arabs are animals or whatever. I like to highlight these people because they give me hope a little bit, okay? It's Max, you fuck. Thank you for the prime.
Who smashed the Elbit headquarters in Bristol on Nakba Day 2022.
74 years of colonization, 74 years of apartheid, 74 years of crimes against humanity.
We were relieved we were not given a custodial sentence, but sent home on a suspended sentence. Here's our story.
Zephyr, thank you for the 14 months.
I grew up in apartheid Israel to a Holocaust surviving family. I was a product of a Zionist education system. I did not know of Palestine. I did not know where it is. It was rather something far remote. I did not realize that Israel is in fact built on the top of Palestine.
My parents were born in Eastern Europe, and they came into Palestine to inherit other people's land. My dad arrived when he was a baby, just after the foundation of the Zionist state. Because of Zionist forces, they were only given one option. Most of those Jews who fled from Europe and had the option to go to other places like North America and so on, they did. But the majority ended up in Palestine because that was the only option that was available for them.
Growing up, I did not have much interaction with children my age who are not from Jewish backgrounds.
Most Israeli kids are being taught to be afraid of their neighbors. Part and parcel of Zionist thinking is about that exclusive nature of Zionism, that there is us and there's them, and them will never be like us. So I usually refer to Zionism as a cult, but sometimes I refer to it as a mental disorder, because it manifests as a mental disorder where people who are Zionist literally cannot see Palestinians as equal human beings. And
that's the only way that you can say shit like, sorry, that's the only way you can respond to seeing children dying with the statement, Israel has a right to defend itself. You are not seeing those people as people if your first thought is to justify the deaths of innocent children. Those are not people to you. If your first gut reaction is to justify it by saying that it's okay, Israel needs to do this. Israel should be allowed to do this. That's mental illness. You are not supposed to think that when you see people suffering. I feel like I've gone crazy repeating this point for a year straight. Yeah, it's very insane to me.
part and parcel of their Zionist type of thinking, and this is something that has to be taught.
I lived in a very segregated society within the Zionist education system, and being a very kind of profound product of that education system with high expectation of me excelling in the military and becoming an officer.
You mind posting this link? No, not at all. Please, here you go. If you have people that you think would benefit from watching this, please send it to them. Because again, like I said, I do think it's important to uplift voices from people who are Israeli, who have been able to step us like away or like be able to see the propaganda for what it is.
Israeli citizens by law are military property when they reach the age of 17, regardless of whether they get drafted or not. So 2 months into the army, since I studied physics in university, they wanted me to be in charge of an anti-tank missile project. This is a Rafael missile that you can see being used quite heavily these days. So all I did for the first couple of months is sit in the library and read about missiles. And then I had this realization. I stopped being a soldier. Then it took almost 1.5 years of fighting the system, trying to get out of there. But from my perspective, I was no longer an Israeli, not a soldier. I didn't mind what they would do. I told them, you can send me for 3 years in prison if you want, I don't care. But I'm no longer part of this game. I mean, it's your problem, not mine. You can do with it whatever you want.
After dodging the...
And that is so hard to do. To put aside your material conditions because you cannot watch idly as your government kills tens or hundreds of thousands of innocent people. And that's like, you're in a position where you are pretty far removed, working on the missiles, being like an engineer, I think he said he was going to school for physics. To be that far removed, and all you're doing is really working on advancing technology. You're not even there on the front line seeing anything. And you're still like, whoa, dude, all I'm doing is making weapons that are going to kill people. I am not doing this. In fact, I will suffer to know that that blood is not on my hands. I cannot have that blood on my hands, on my conscience. Like, that's just, I have so much respect for those people. Like, yeah.
Military, I was privileged.
Designing offensive weapons isn't that removed. When you don't see the suffering it causes firsthand, the way that like a combatant would see the suffer, like combatants who are in tanks with other people and their fucking coworker or like someone in their squad fucking sniper rifles a kid. I think that's like a huge wake up call. Like, whoa, dude, why did you just kill that unarmed kid? What the fuck? And seeing everyone else think it's funny, I think that you are not far removed. You are right there. Working in like physics, so easy, or engineering, so easy to like distance yourself mentally. By nature, missiles travel too far to see the damage. It's how it changed air combat in the Korean War, yeah. It's also a lot easier to desensitize something through remote usage. Yeah, 100%. I know some U.S. soldiers have told their command that if they're sent anywhere in the Middle East, they will not support this genocide and would rather be put in jail. They end up getting stationed in non-Middle Eastern areas. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about watching it sleepy. I couldn't tell if it would be too heavy or not. It's really sad. Ethan became a mild lefty for a little bit, and then under the most minor of pushback against some stuff, he went crazy. Yeah. So, continuing. And just one last chat message I think is a good one. He didn't leave out of self-preservation. He was in no danger. He did it because he realized how fucked up what he was doing was. Yeah. There's literally footage of ex-IDF marksmen laughing and crying about how many kneecaps they've struck. They're like disassociated from reality. There's like, we're going to watch it. We're going to do a day of documentaries on different stuff. But one of them that people haven't seen is Abby Martin's documentary on Gaza. And she shows footage of these Israeli snipers during the, I think it's the 2018 March. Is it? I always mix up whether it's 2016 or 2018. 2018, yeah. Okay. It was 2018. But there's this footage from snipers and they're pretty far. Like, I don't remember the distance, but taking that shot is a difficult shot The problem is they shot a kid, not like a war criminal. They were shooting a kid. And then the guy tells his buddy, whoa, did you see that shot? That was so sick. Again, about a kid, a child, like 7, 8 years old. Like, that's the type of shit I say when I'm playing Valorant, because it's a fucking video game. And I'm like, dude, do you see my fucking ace? Yeah, it's a fucking stick-ass ace. Did you stop, like... Because no one is dying, maybe? I don't know. It's a crazy idea. Anyways, moving on.
Enough to go to the university and meet intellectuals and individuals who were speaking about colonialism and apartheid. So I realized, I came to understand the historical forces of colonialism and imperialism, basically subjugating the indigenous people of Palestine and depriving them of their freedom, liberty, and livelihood.
The moment that I realized that there is such...
Israel's made up of animals who need to be locked up and shipped into space. If you're talking about the people in power, if you're talking about the officials in power that allow the genocide to continue, or you're talking about the people who post videos mocking not Israelis, Palestinians. Yeah, however, okay, the people in power, yeah. I mean, I think genuinely every single person in Israel that is in a position of power should be tried for crimes against humanity. Every single one of those people. Every single one that has done anything to help advance this genocide, they should stand trial for this shit. Why give them a trial? Because it's the fair thing to do. Trials are important, and you shouldn't break your moral code for anyone ever. Also, I think it's important to show everyone what these people did and what they said and how important they were to allowing the genocide to continue.
A notion of a military refusal, and that I wasn't alone in that. Then I started helping others, and at the same time, it was clear that that I should take action alongside Palestinians. Quite early on, I also became activist with Anarchists Against the Wall. We would go on weekly demonstrations in solidarity, invited by the local villagers whose lands were being annexed and confiscated. And I was, like many others, I was beaten, I was shot at, I was arrested numerous times. I had friends. A friend was shot in the head with a rubber-coated steel bullet, Elbit made, of course. Also the adapters made by Elbit. At that demonstration, I was shot in my leg with such a bullet.
I was familiar with the term Elbit because my family was providing services to Elbit system, which is also based in Haifa. So Elbit system is a name that I knew all of my life, and it was not before 2011 that I participated in a demo in Tel Aviv for 2 young boys who were bombarded by a missile that was produced by Elbit and was launched by an Elbit drone in Gaza. Muhammad El-Zaza and Ibrahim El-Zaza, who passed away from that drone, and Muhammad, who came to testify in our trial.
Elbit is Israel's largest arms manufacturer, producing at least 85% of the killer drones, being used 24/7 in Gaza and also in the West Bank more recently. In the West Bank, they try out what's called less than lethal weapons, including the steel bullets, including something called the Scream, which is making a loud noise, which is Elbit made, including all kinds of like beanbags and salt bullets and different types of tear gas ammunition. I mean, there's so many things that they have been trying on us. At the same time, in Gaza, this is their whole lab for trying out their very lethal weaponry. And every time, like now, when Israel is bombing the hell out of Gaza, it is done in direct cooperation with Elbit, where this is their R&D in action.
Coming from a background of Holocaust survivors, it was very clear to me that once there are crimes against humanity that are being conducted, one should not stand aside. So this is the kind of moral imperative to which I was committed and still committed, and believe this is a kind of universal call to not to avert our gaze when we see our brothers and sisters in suffering.
Elbit in Bristol is the headquarters of Elbit's operations in the UK.
Watch while I do chores on the weekend, people happy.
Oh, thank you, Nella. Thank you for the 9 months. Video and channel title, please. Just got here. Yeah, of course. Here. And it's just insane to me how many, like, freaks there are that say the Israel has a right to defend itself in response to seeing footage of the genocide occurring in Gaza, to like seeing people suffering, that they say that shit, that they think it's okay, that it's justified, that, well, they shouldn't have gotten themselves in this situation in the first place. When it feels like it should be the standard that everyone has this response instead, which is never again means never again. I know what a genocide looks like. That's what's happening here. Like this, I don't know how is it that not everyone has this opinion? This is crazy.
R&D in action.
Coming from a background of Holocaust survivors, it was very clear to me that once there are crimes against humanity that are being conducted, one should not stand aside. So this is the kind of moral imperative to which I was committed and still committed, and believe this is a kind of universal call to not to avert our gaze when we see our brothers and sisters in suffering.
Elbit in Bristol is the headquarters of Elbit's operations in the UK, which is simply the UK office of the Greater Elbit Israel. The vast majority of the directors of Elbit UK and subsidiaries here are employees who are the high-ranking officials in Elbit Israel, including the president and CEO himself, who is director of Elbit UK, and many others. The Israeli embassy to the UK and the UK ambassador to Israel were both at the opening of the new Bristol site.
Once I've moved abroad to pursue higher education, I joined the BDS campaign. And after many years of engaging in that campaign and challenging the authorities and challenging politicians and public representatives, it seems that it all led to a dead end. And at this point, it was crucial to begin to engage in direct action and to actively prevent weapons from being produced and shipped to Israel.
There used to be universal jurisdiction in the UK. We could go after Israeli war criminals. So the UK changed the law to allow for Israeli war criminals to arrive here in the UK. And this was put to the test in 2011 when Tzipi Livni was the first one who arrived, and there was an arrest warrant filed against her for war crimes. And it was the head of the public prosecution, Keir Starmer, who decided to change the status of her mission and lend her immunity. And she has more recently been elected to be director of Elbit Systems.
We know we have the full moral ground to take this action. And it's also not just any higher law, it's actually written law that allow us to stop such industries from engaging in this illegal manufacturing of weapons that is being produced for the use of genocide and war crimes.
It seems like anyone who is trying to oppose the criminals is being branded a criminal, and this is done in a systemic deliberate way here in the UK. They obviously changed different aspects of the law, denying us different defenses. You know, based on the Colson statute case, there was an appeal to change the law in that sense. More recently, they have appealed to change the law about consent.
at the beginning of Palestine action, there was the authorities were reluctant to take activists to court because they didn't want to shed light on the kind of murderous enterprise that they are running. But as time went by, and we in Palestine Action managed to create a critical mass of people willing to take action and putting their body on the line, the authorities are more willing to drag us to court and take away our defenses in law. When we went to court, we couldn't argue for protection of life and necessity and urgency, all of which were factors in why we've taken the action. After a 4-week trial, we were found guilty without being able to present the full motivation of what we take in action.
This genocide was in the cards. It was only a matter of time. What has happened back then is that there was already like high tension and people were already being targeted in the West Bank. Shireen Abu Akleh, the journalist, was murdered just a couple of days before our action. And the intention was to stop.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at what's happening on the screen. I'm laughing at the libbers in chat. No, they don't have a higher moral ground. It's vandalism. Well, you didn't write vandalism, you wrote vandalism. It's law infringement. Laws are an expression of democracy. I get their feelings and agree about the incentive, but acting against laws hurts your cause more than it helps. Aspen Gold, is that you?
The manufacturing and the shipment of those murder machines to Israel for as long as we could.
Guys, if you block the road, how am I gonna get my DoorDash order? I can't drink water. What are you, crazy?
As I see the entire instrument of law, as it is formulated, is the instrument of the strong. So the authorities have ultimate power. They have state power and they can use it in any way they want. But that is not something that deters me personally, because we are talking here about the most severe crimes. They are talking about the crime of genocide. My soul has not been so abused that I have forgotten that my basic duty is to care for my brothers and sisters. Our blood is already mixed with the blood of Palestinians. We are all in the same struggle, and if we have to go to prison, that's just a continuation of the struggle. If we are not taking action, we are far worse than going to prison. We carry the prison within ourselves.
When I was asked to apologize on the stand, I said that I apologize to the people of Gaza. I apologize that I was not able to avert that genocide that is happening right in front of our eyes. That myself and others probably have not been successful, and that is what I deeply regret.
Freedom is not.
I just, again, like I said, obviously I have respect for everyone who can see what's happening and recognize that it's a genocide. But I have nothing but the highest regard of respect for people who had to grow up with Israeli propaganda, who have Israeli family members who have been born and raised in Israel, and it's all they know. And it is not in their best interest. It is in their worst interest to stand up against their state. And they do it anyways. Bravery doesn't even begin to describe their actions. Yeah. And everyone around you just calls you a self-hating Jew. I promise you, like, these people, their family members, if their family members are not against the current sorry, I was reading a chat message. The current genocide, they're just like, whatever, they should have thought about that before they elected Hamas. I can imagine what that's like. Just getting excommunicated by all your family members because you see a war that doesn't need to be happening against people that had nothing to do with it and think it's wrong. Like, just, American propaganda is tough enough to get through. Israeli propaganda is on a whole other level. Yeah. I try to talk to my own family all the time and they don't get it. Dude, I mean, like, even, what's it called? Like, Nandre has talked about being an American Jew and having his family not very happy, that members of his family have not been very happy
Another
seeing
month
him.
Full of amazing content. Thanks for always educating the masses on tough conversations. Appreciate you, Denims.
Amateur, thank you so much for the 6 months. But yeah, even Andre, I mean, I'm sure there's maybe a video or some tweets on it where he's talked about it. And he's talked about how it's been really hard for him that, like, family gatherings are not the same, and that there are a lot of people in his family that really do not support him publicly speaking out against the state of Israel. I'm Israeli. My family is left, like voting Meretz and Labor. They don't see Palestinians as human beings. Lolo has said similar. Yeah, Lolo's also talked about it. Lolo overruled. He's talked about how he's Jewish, his family is Jewish, and he has felt a rift in his family over Palestine because he doesn't want a genocide to happen. And there are a lot of Jewish people that just, they're propagandized into thinking that, like, the Palestinians are the ones at fault. And there's, like, nothing you can do about it. His own family literally calls him a self-hating Jew. It's more than just a rift. These are not the people you should worry about. You know why you're doing it and who you're doing it for and what. Yeah, but you have to understand that, like, for most people, I mean, myself especially included, there's always a part of your brain that's like, am I right on this? I'm not on the wrong side on this, right? Like vaccines, for example. It's like, I'm not the crazy one here, right? Vaccines are good. Go through all my sources, double check my stuff. I'm like, okay. We're still sane. Okay. Whew. Vaccines still do not cause autism. Okay, great. That's how I feel about this stuff as well, right? There's still always a part of my brain where I'm like, what I'm saying about Palestine, what I'm saying about Israel, this is not insane to say this, right? That these children shouldn't be dying, that people should have access to basic medical supplies and food and water, and Israel shouldn't just be able to airstrike buildings because they have one terrorist in them. And then I'm like, okay, put that situation in any other context. Hence the school shooter analogy. Okay, school shooter. Would the US or any other nation be allowed to bomb that school to get the school shooter? No, of course not. If you send in, like, a SWAT team and the SWAT team, like, stray bullets kill 2 or 3 kids, but everybody else in the building is safe and they apprehend or kill the shooter. Yeah, the kids that die in the attack, that's really sad, but that was really the best that they could do, right? They tried their best to save as many people as possible at the risk of the SWAT members losing their own lives because they signed up for it. And I'm like, yes. And no one would stand by idly if the US decided they would just start airstriking buildings, because who cares? You would always send in a ground team to try and reduce casualties, at the very least, so that the building doesn't explode and fall on top of innocent people that have nothing to do with anything, right? And then I remember that, and I'm like, well, do I hold any negative sentiment towards people who have nothing to do with it? Like, for example, Israelis who have nothing to do with the conflict, who unfortunately were born in Israel, grew up with Israeli propaganda, have not done any Israeli war crimes yet. No, I think all of the people I value all human life. I think every single Israeli who died, be it at the hands of Hamas or be it at the hands of the Israeli government, I think every single one of those people who died shouldn't have died. And I think that that's really sad that that happened. And I don't want to see civilians die. But it's really hard, I think, to like harden your resolve and be sure of yourself when your entire family is telling you you're wrong. Right? Because there's always a voice, both explicitly outside of your head and inside of your head, that's like, I really hope I'm not wrong on this. I really hope I'm not going to look back and realize that I shouldn't have said these things or thought these things. And living with that every day, or like maybe not every day, but whenever you think about it, you think about the fact that like all these people think that you're wrong. Like these people that you care about, whose opinions you respect, these family members who you love, despise that you hold this opinion and think you are completely wrong. It's like, oh, fuck, dude, am I wrong? Am I the person who thinks pineapple belongs on pizza? Fuck. No, I'm not. Okay. Whew. Okay. Whew. All right. We're still good. We're still safe. It does. But yeah, you guys get the idea. Pizza time. I wonder if big media reporters have these moments of self-reflection too. I think they try their best to like muffle those thoughts. Pineapple truthers. Pineapple truthers, stand down. Oh, Hackstock. Actually. No. Wait, I have to say, as a pineapple enjoyer, the one problem with pineapple pizza is that they give you these fucking huge wet chunks that they fucking rip straight out of the can and they throw it on. And that's not how pineapple pizza is meant to be enjoyed. It's supposed to be cut in thinner slices, in smaller pieces that have been like roasted. They shouldn't be, the pineapple shouldn't be making your fucking pizza soggy. Like you should be grilling the pineapple and then putting it on top, and then you throw the pizza in for a little bit longer. And there's so many places that serve pineapple pizza, and the pineapple hasn't been grilled, and the pineapple's huge wet chunks that ruin the pizza. That's the problem. Okay. All right. That's my opinion. Sorry if I lost some supporters saying that. Sorry about that. Not only are you a pineapple on pizza person, but you're also a snob about it. Is that correct? Yes. Never watching again. No, come back. No, wait, come back. Have you tried the new pineapple shake from Wendy's? No, is it out? I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I actually really like Wendy's Frosties. I try them every time. Well, there goes my $20. You'll never believe it, guys. I'm posting this on my Instagram story. I talked about enjoying some types of pineapple on pizza, and the woke anti-pineapple people refused to sub in my chat for $5.
As a pizza delivery driver, please understand we stole food every day and pineapple was added strictly to help us avoid scurvy.
Is this true? Is this true, JW? I think in 11 months, is that true? Sorry, $6. Sorry. Inflation, am I right? What are you doing about this, Biden?
Wendy's is the only fast food place I go to. Have you tried Wendy's nuts? You write on Pizza Girl.
Mentally, I feel like the GTA wasted. That's... Mentally. Mentally, this is where I am after that, okay? Hope you're happy. Straw man me, bro. Thank you so much for the gift of to Wendy's nuts. You read on pizza? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dyro. Thank you for 5 months. All right. Okay, let's finish this video up. It's 1 more minute. Classic streamer pausing right before the video's about to end. But let's just finish this video.
Not going to bring itself. We must be the midwife of freedom, even if it has to pay a price. And nothing is being born without pain. And we are going to take pride in the action we've taken. We have smashed into the building. We have spilled paint. We have barricaded ourselves. We managed to destroy anything we saw our way, and we are very proud of it. And this is how things has to be done. And hopefully people will follow suit to dismantle the war machine and to shut LB down.
Sav and Ronnie spent a month on remand and then nearly a year on house arrest. They received 2-year suspended sentences and ordered to pay $1,000 prosecution costs plus $5,000 compensation to Albert. Sav and Ronnie are challenging the compensation as unlawful given the company's complicity in the ongoing genocide. So based. So based. And for the final time, thank you. Thank you guys for watching this with me because I want to show that it is possible to like remove the programming and remove the part of you that thinks that Palestinians aren't people. Because that's not normal. And you shouldn't think that. And Israelis unfortunately have to deal with propaganda the moment that they're born and thinking that these people are trying to destroy them, and that's not what's happening. So, yeah. What is Elbit? It's an Israeli defense contractor. Yeah. Basically, they make the weapons of war that allow Israel to continue doing what they want to do. So, yeah. Okay. In another direction, really quickly, I wanted to show the dog shit Zionists. Now that I showed some based Israelis, I have to show some fucking insane ones.
We, the Jewish people, we are the chosen people. The Jews are the chosen people, and it is so apparent when you're in Israel, the Jewish land, and you're with the Jewish people of Israel, how magical we are. That's biblical shit, okay? That's biblical. You can't debate any of that. I want to make sure everybody knows that the Jews are the chosen people. And that's no disrespect to anything or anybody else. But
yo, I'm better than you in every way. God literally picked me over you and everybody else. No disrespect. Bro, you are so fucking ugly. No disrespect. You can't just put no disrespect after a disrespectful statement and then pretend like it's not disrespectful anymore. What the fuck?
the Jews are the chosen people, and Israel is ancient Judean Jewish land.
Not gonna lie, it's giving Nazi. It really is giving Nazi right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Hollywood Michael Rappaport wants everyone to know that the Jewish people are simply better than everyone else. It's not personal. It's just that they're God's chosen. It's just, it is really just giving Nazi right now. I'm getting a little bit of, what are those? Notes of Nazi with, undertones of Nazi. And, oh, wow, that body. What a strong body of Nazi, dude. Wow. Hitler particles through the fucking roof. Jesus Christ. John Cena joins Kai Cenat's stream. What the hell? Is this real? Hold up, I can't scroll randomly. They're real? It's I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy that Twitch streamers could get this big. Anyway. Sorry, every time I think of John Cena, I think about that one video where he apologized to China.
It was nicely ripened on a barrel of pure unbridled hatred, too.
Good one on Bills. I literally can't help but think about that one video where he apologized to China. He's like, Taiwan? Sorry. Sorry for suggesting anything about Taiwan. Sorry. Play it. John Cena, Taiwan. This video is hilarious, dude. This video is so funny.
你好，中国，就是叫西娜。我必须说，现在，在速度与激情中，我做很多采访，很多，所以在一个
John was right to do this, Mike. He said so far, when I was, I guess, filming for Fast and Furious 9, I had many interviews, and one of them, I made a mistake. Everyone asked me if I can use Chinese. People at Fast and Furious 9, they gave me lots of interview information. I made a mistake. I have to say right now, it's so important. I love and respect China and Chinese people.
爱更尊重中国更中国人，我很抱歉对我的错误，对不起，我很抱歉，你必须理解对我的错误。
I'm so sorry for my mistake. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. You have to understand. I love and respect China and Chinese people. I'm sorry. What did he do? He called Taiwan a country. No! No! I don't want to watch Asmongold. You watch 10 Asmongold's videos and suddenly it wants to show you another 100. Unbelievable. I did want to watch this with you guys though. On the topic of China really quick, since we got here. I saw this video and the entire time all I could think was like, this is so fucking cool. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking simp for China. I'm sorry, dude. China hive cities are so fucking cool.
I start by heading down my 18-story apartment with no elevator, but thankfully I only need to go down a few stories because the ground floor is on the 12th floor. Too bad for those folks live down there. They have to climb up and sunlight is like a luxury for them.
I hate the guy talking about the video, but...
Next, I enter a subway station that feels like an entrance of a fallout shelter. Then...
Entrance of a fallout shelter. Go to New York. Fucking loser. Sorry. Control myself for a second.
Fallout shelter. Then comes the subway that looks like a roller coaster ride, and the train casually goes through a residential building.
Wait, the volume is so quiet. One sec.
And here it goes through.
Zombie, here. Have you discussed Ethan yet, or did I miss it? Oh, I already discussed it. It was just like on his Instagram story. I don't know if you saw it, but he was just calling this very clearly fake story. He was calling it an example of Hassan's woke socialist army not tipping $20 to their fellow working class people, despite them being socialists. Because some weed delivery guy said he's an H3 fan. So the delivery driver, the weed delivery driver, didn't get a tip? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, sorry. Going back to the video. Okay, subway.
It's like a roller coaster ride.
This is so cool!
And the train casually goes through a residential building. And here it goes through another residential building. Because
listen, dog. First of all, the trains in China are so much more quiet than the trains in New York. Second of all, and Chicago. Second of all right? The trains in New York are so loud, and there's so many buildings next to them. Dude, the trains in Queens, so many of them are right next to people's apartments. And they're loud. They are, like, when I say next to, I mean next to. I mean, like, a few yards. Maybe more quiet. A downstairs neighbor being a train would be wild. That would be insane, I'm not gonna lie. But it would be kind of cool. Anyway, sorry. Literally a plot point in 7, is that?
why not? Finally,
trains. Imagine living right under the JFK